tower defense game I made with the Unity game engine, and it is inspired by the video game Kingdom Rush Mobile, and I kind of changed up things by making it a horizontal scroll instead of being able to see the whole map at a glance, which I thought was more interesting. Here we go, we can start the game. So basically the job is to keep the green enemies or purple enemies from reaching the right side of the map, which you can access by scrolling this scroll. And there are 3 different types of players that you can help to defeat the enemies, which are the archer, the knight, and the lancer. And each of them have different health stats, and they also have different attacking abilities. Like, for example, the archer shoots arrows, obviously. And to code the arrows of the archer, I calculated the physics using the tracking of the enemy's position relative to the archer's launch position. And with that, I was able to calculate at what speed do I have to shoot the angle at the 45 degrees angle, so then it would hit the enemy perfectly. And how the players and the enemies really function, I used state machines, enums in the C# script, splitting the players and the enemies' behavior basically into 3 different modes: a random patrolling mode for the player, a following mode, which so that the player would go to the enemy, and then a firing mode. So how I determine which mode to go into, I would first search for an enemy by going through a list of enemies and checking for the closest one. And if the closest enemy is within range, then just attack. And if it's not in range, but it is within the range so that it can be seen, then it is going into following mode. And then the following enum is going to make the players go towards the enemy. And then when it gets within range, it's going into the firing state. And as you can see, if the player is not able to protect or defend against the enemies, then after the enemy touches the coin at the right, your life will decrease and more enemies will come. And then if you run out of lives, you basically lose the game. And we can just put some archers, but we are actually currently out of gold, which you can also keep track of on the top left corner. And then going back to the states, so there is the firing, the following, and alright, I guess I just won. So that is a situation in which you win the game, and then you can choose to either restart or go back to the main menu, which is basically the game loop. So if you go back to the game menu, you would see the intro screen, and then after tapping, you can restart the game one more time. And then just a last thing, to keep the players from going out of their assigned spaces. So for example, to keep the archer from getting off the towers, I gave them zones, assigned zones, and then based on the location of the archer, the zone would determine for the archer using C# scripts whether it can go outside. As you can see, this archer is basically just on the edge. And to do that, I just used a simple clamp feature, clamping down the X location of the archers. Other than that, it's pretty much it. Thank you.